we go. We switched physical rooms, so I'm trying to get everything reconnected here. Coach, it's your show, my friend.
Get this going. I appreciate the sunny background there. That's I haven't seen that in a while. Let me figure this out. I'm using PowerPoint here, so let me share my screen. All right, do we have a title slide here? Are we able to see this? We all good on your guys' end? Perfect. All right, guys. Obviously appreciate everybody taking the time out of their evenings tonight to, try and learn a few things. Obviously, Coach York went already, talked a little bit about our inside zone scheme here at VCSU. I've known Coach York now for 10 years, and we were running a lot of the same stuff we were playing in college together, and you still learn something new every single day. So again, guys, my name is Brandon Bouma. I'm the running backs coach and recruiting coordinator here at VCSU. A little bit about me quickly. I don't want to talk about myself. I played offensive line in college at Presentation College with Coach York. He was really, really good. I was his backup when he was a senior. He's got plenty of stories of me back then, but after my playing career, I was fortunate enough to get a graduate assistantship here at VCSU. Did that for about 3 years, and then every year they keep on bringing me back. I don't know what it is. It's probably my comedic relief at times around here, but I've been, very, very fortunate. You can see a picture there of, this past year's running back room. I've been very fortunate to have, some quality backs in my position room. Every year I've been here, we've had an all-conference guy. I'd like to say it's all coaching, but at the end of the day, we all know it's about the Jimmies and the Joes, not about the X's and O's. But, the biggest thing, that I talk about with my guys every single year, whether, it's going to be here in 2 weeks when we start getting ready for our spring workouts to lead into spring ball, or it's if I'm, starting to lead freshman camp practice, which we'll have in August, right? When those newcomers come in. Guys who want to see the field here at VCSU in the running back room, they have to be able to do two things, right? They have to be able to secure the football, right? Ball security, the old saying, ball security is job security, and they have to be able to pass pro. I will incorporate a lot of our offensive line philosophies that Coach York and I were kind of ingrained in when we were in college into my drill selection with my guys. But it's a lot harder, right, to find a guy on campus who can go out and throw a football, right, or read cover 4 or cover 3 or whatever. It's a little bit harder to find those guys than it is to maybe just find a guy to go run the football, right? So that's the difference making between the selection of guys that we put out on the field. So, right away, I just want to talk a little bit, about our ball security. Coach York always talks about I'm the ball security guy here at VCSU. We do some sort of ball security drill every single day, every single practice, whether it's spring ball, summer ball, fall camp, in season, doesn't matter, right? It is a vital aspect of our program. During fall camp, we will work with the defensive guys and their turnover circuits, right? Practicing ball security. It's about, just getting that mindset that, we have to control the football. At the bottom, you can see, bolded, underlined, ball security is job security. In my next year will be my 8th year here at VCSU as the running backs coach. And, our running backs have fumbled 12 times. I could probably tell you, every single game and how it worked out for us. In those games we fumbled, we've lost 5 times, right? That is a direct correlation, which we all know. Every year we have our turnover tracker, right? At the end of the year, we want to be plus 10 as an entire team, right? Defense has to take the ball away 10 more times than we give it up. So having that instilled every single day, at the bottom you can see, just a screenshot of a random practice that we had earlier in the year. We were playing Mayville State that week. This is probably a Tuesday or a Wednesday practice. But you can see period 3 right there. We're doing a drill called hoop. There it is, right? I am very much for having a wide variety of ball security drills, right? I mean, there's pretty typical drills, which, we've all seen and done over the years, right? I went to a Minnesota running backs clinic, Minnesota Gophers running backs clinic a couple weeks ago, and they were doing the old gator strip, right? Trying to rip the ball out, while you're holding somebody's jersey behind you. But having that variety gets guys out of the mindset that they can take it easy. This hoop there it is drill, we don't have clips of it here today, right? But it's a competition drill, right? We have guys, working to actively get the ball out. Otherwise, there's going to be some sort of, repercussions, right? Whether it's, push-ups at the end of a drill, right? Maybe some sort of conditioning aspect at the end of practice. We want our guys to have that competitive nature in everything we do. And obviously ball security is no exception. So when we talk about ball security, we always talk about the 5 points of contact here at VCSU, right? We've got the fingertips, the palm, the forearm, the bicep, and the chest, right? As we've all heard it over the years, high and tight, right? So when we've got that football, we're in a good position, right? All 5 points of contact are touching that football in some sort of way. I've got a picture of our starting running back the last 3 years, Justice Bice. I hate the fact that Bice graduated, so now my all-conference running back a streak is in jeopardy, right? I guess I gotta coach another guy up now. I actually have to work this year, right? But he did a great job at ball security over the years. He fumbled 2 times in 3 years. That's a hell of a stat for a guy like him, right? But he took it very, very seriously, in every sort of drill, every sort of game day environment that we were in, he was going to hold on to the football. But by having the football with those 5 points of contact, you can see the biggest thing that I always talk about with our guys is our wrist should be up and our elbow should be down, right? By having that, right, we are going to have the nose of the football pointing towards the sky, right? It's going to be against our chest. Our elbow is going to be tight to our body. There's not going to be a lot of, a lot of space, an air bubble for defenders to go after the football. If our guys don't have the wrist up, elbow down, whether, it's a ball security drill or I'm working with my guys individually as the running backs coach, we're restarting the rep. It's a necessity to have. We always want the ball, right, in our outside arms, right? If we're going to the left, obviously, put the ball in your left arm. If you're going to the right, put the ball in your right arm, right? But we always want to have the ball between our body and the boundary, with the boundary being the out of bounds, right? In the worst case scenario, the ball goes out, right? We lose, the ball in some sort of turnover fashion, right? Yeah, the chances of it going out of bounds go up significantly. We talk about, if and when that situation happens, right, where we have our ball and our body to the boundary, right, we will never switch the football. I do not want my guys going from right to left with the football, because you're opening up a can of worms, right? You're asking for the defender to go ahead and take that football away from you, right? The whole idea is we want to reduce our tackling surface, right? If we start to, come together with our arms, right? We talk about in that bottom point right there where it says we're going to pin our other hand. So if the ball, for example, is in our left arm, we're going to take our right hand and we're going to pin it on our opposite bicep, creating that X, right? You've seen it, more and more over the years, right? Some guys just instinctually get it, right? For better or for worse, I never really have to put a harp on it, right? It's probably because those high school coaches are doing a great job with their young guys, right? But by forming that X, you're giving, right, a defender, less space. Conveniently enough, we had a picture from this last year. One of our senior wide receivers, Austin Young, going against Dickinson State. You can see he's in the action here. He's got the ball in his right arm, so he's going to take his left hand now and work to put it on his bicep, right? Holding that ball inside, reducing, space, reducing the opportunities for a defense to take that ball away. My slide would move here, right? So, we've got some clips from, summer ball a couple of years ago. But like I mentioned, ball security does not have to be the most complex drill of the day, right? I'm a big believer when you have to start overcomplicating drills, right? You have to imagine you only get a 5-minute period I get a 5-minute period each day with our guys. If I want to incorporate a lot of equipment, if I want to incorporate, rules to a drill, right? That's a waste of time, right? We will start every single day, whether it's a pre-practice drill with my guys in the running back room, or, if we get to it, in practice, some sort of agile bag drill. You can see in this top left video here, right? We've just got 5 agile bags down. Bice is just going 2 feet through each, right? I guess that's 1 foot, right? But it's simple, right? We can see where Bice's ball security is at right now, right? High and tight, right? Nose of the football is pointing towards the sky. We've got the crow's hawk, right? Over the nose of the football, right? And the whole idea is that, it doesn't matter if we have agile bags there, if we've got people with, those little hand shields that are going to hit you, the ball security should never suffer, right? And, I love it, especially when we're just getting back into things. This drill would have taken place in early July, right? As we were just coming back. Our guys were just reporting for fall camp, our returners, that is. It's just going back through the muscle memories, right? You can see here, Ty, at the end of the drill, right? Ball still where it started. Just incorporating next, right? When you have agile bags here, right? It's not always, as a running back, just going vertical, right? It's seeing the hip explosion. So I don't know why that video is playing, but you can see here, right? We're going to go ahead, start facing, right, the coach. Once we get halfway through the bags or at the very end in this drill, we want to open up and explode, right? As a running back, and if we run, inside zone, right? Coach York had, a bunch of inside zone clips to start his presentation. Not every single time did it go A gap, right? Sometimes those guys make plays as well, forcing us to bounce it, right? Finding your read and then exploding off. You can see the real thing that I'm looking for from Bice right here is, where is that football on explosion? Because with a lot of guys, when we go through our ball security drills, some of them honestly kind of do look goofy. We're going to get to some here in a little bit where we're squat jumping and stuff, right? We're not squat jumping on a football field, but it's all about creating that muscle memory. It's understanding when I burst open, right? When Bice goes over this last bag right here, the ball security doesn't suffer. He doesn't just bring the football down. You can see he's going over this last bag. Ball's tucked against his chest. He's ready to get vertical. Ty's doing the same thing here. Right, last bag, burst and go. Here we go again. We're just working our inside zone track. Funny enough here, it's a little laggy. I'll just go ahead and scroll through it. Right, so incorporating what we went off with Coach York's presentation before, we're pushing our line of scrimmage. Right, it's understanding now. All right, I'm getting through. Right, we talked about before, we don't want our guys switching in games. I understand that. It's a little hypocritical right now of having them switch, but the whole idea in this drill is understanding, right? At all times, that ball needs to be high and tight. It's getting that ball back into a comfortable position, allowing us to get vertical. I don't love what Ty's doing here, right? The quality and player. I love Ty. Ty didn't make it past this season with us. He was a walk-on guy for us. Bice the whole time, never sacrifices ball security. And then Ty is kind of just jumbling the ball. He kind of looks like what I would look like if I was holding a football. Instead, I'm holding a camera right now. So that's the glory of NAI football. Same thing, same thing. Bam. Coming back here now. I love rolls drills. You can see by Bice's face right now, he is absolutely pissed off at me. 1, because it's hot. 2, because they hate rolls, right? It's an idea behind the drill. So in our rolls drill, what we're talking about here, you can see Bice, he's starting the drill off in great position, right? When I do this drill throughout the years, I will have 5 lines. I will take all the quarterbacks. I'll take the running backs. I'll take the receivers, tight ends, whatever, right? We will get in the 6 lines, for example. We'll have 6 guys up. They're going to start chopping their feet. As you can see, Bice starts in great position. The coach is going to point a direction. The whole idea is when Bice rolls that direction, that ball should never move, right? That ball should be glued to his chest. He should have 5 points of contact. That nose of the football should be pointed towards the sky at all times. You can see with Bice, he's going to roll. I always tell guys roll on their butt. I don't want them to roll on their back, right? we're college football players. We should be a little bit more athletic. But naturally, what happens, right? We want our guys to push up with their off arm, right? Keep your balance, right? But we're trying to get rid of that mentality. Okay, I can push off, right, with the ball in my hand. I'm not using the football to get back up. Coach York had a little bit of issues with huddle, PowerPoint. Of course, we start presenting now. It doesn't want to, be as convenient for me, right? I'm going to go about, 3, 4 directions. I'm going to change it up, whether it's fast or slow, because when you're chopping your feet, obviously your legs are going to get heavy, right? That's the whole mentality. Okay. If the drill continues to extend, right, does my ball security suffer, right? We can't play a 4-quarter football game and then have bad ball security in the 4th quarter. All right. So, I had to dig way, way, way in the archives now. We've got guys with masks on, right? We're doing a ball security drill. We mentioned that, throughout the year, right? Whether this is early fall camp, right? This looks like a freshman practice, funny enough, from very, very early. So, I like to take this drill out and maybe get rid of some frustration. We're going to beat some players with some bags, right? But this is as simple as just teaching these guys, these defensive guys who a lot of them obviously played both ways in high school, right? That's a pretty common thing for guys, but some of these defensive linemen, for example, this is looks like a combination of some linebackers and DBs. They have no idea how to hold a football, right? So what we're going to do, we call it cans drill. We will use garbage cans. I guess we were using cones to this day, right? Our assistant running backs coach at that time, or one of our student assistants, was helping me out. But the whole idea is we're going to start with player ball on his outside arm. He's going to the left, right? I want him to get outside, tight to the cone, right? And then deal with pressure, right? We'll have coaches there with hand shields, agile bags just to poke at the ball, right? Depending on the day, we'll have multiple coaches. We'll have coaches move around, right? It's just never being comfortable with the football. All right, so Sal Avila was a NSAA Player of the Year for us in our conference. Played running back in high school. Doesn't have the best ball security of all time. Right? But it's okay. These defender guys, they're always dealing with contact on Saturdays, right? They're the ones delivering the hits. How are they going to be able to hold on to that football, right? The biggest thing, we just need to be able to get the ball back. Right? We'll go through it multiple times. I'll get annoyed with these freshmen and start wailing on them. It's usually a good time. We call this hops drill, right? We talked a little bit similar, right? Set up to our Duke rolls drill, right? Stole it from Duke, very original name, right? We're going to go ahead and get into a hop position. So we're going to call 4 guys out in this drill. You can see some quarterbacks are with us now, right? Calling them out, having them chop, balls in good position right away. The whole idea is that we're working on a squat jump. I want their butt to touch the ground, right? It's the little things that the guys aren't going to think about. If I can get these guys in a squat jump, when you jump up naturally as a human, you want to brace for impact, right? We are going to bring our arms out, right? It's whatever, right? It's just naturally it comes to us. That's obviously terrible ball security, right? The whole idea is that when I jump up, I should still be nose up, wrist up, elbow down, right? 5 points of contact. It should not suffer. Right, the quarterback room does a pretty good job. Coach York mentioned number 5. This was an early rep for him in his career. He's probably our second best running back, right? If we needed a running back desperately, we would probably throw Avery in there at running back, right? But, guys are going to get lazy through the end, right? Make them do it a couple times, right? Get their legs, right, a little tired, right? It just comes back to your first rep looks like your last rep. There's no excuses throughout the day. Have them burst through 5 yards. And, if you're, a Division I school like Ohio State, sometimes I'll watch their ball security drills and they'll have 5 coaches out there, right? Here at VCSU, I had the wide receivers, quarterbacks coach with me in line talking to dudes, probably because I'm yelling at them. Coach York is wondering why I'm probably just, getting after the ball security drill at that point in the day, because this is probably our second period throughout the day. But, it's making sure when they finish this drill, I like to go on the goal line, right? Finish the drill, finish the drive, score a touchdown, right? It's not lacking at the very end. And you can see right? The ball's down on their hips towards the end. So when we go pass protection, right, that's always, the true difference between, the really, really solid running backs, in my opinion, at the college level, and then, guys who are, just sort of average, right? I love, following these different running back blocking Twitter accounts where you just see these guys and, the NFL or, maybe even like the Division 1 level, right? Where they just make these huge blocks. And I love forwarding those to my guys in a group chat because it is a great feeling, right? When you can put a dude down, right? Whether it's a cut, whether it's just, squaring up a dude and, getting or allowing the quarterback to get the ball out. It's a true pride thing for us, right? As a former offensive lineman, right? I challenge my guys every single day. You are going to be coached significantly different than anybody in our conference. We are going to do a blocking period every single day, right? I don't really give a damn how good your steps are on inside zone or outside zone. I don't care what your ball carrier vision looks like. If you cannot block, you will not get on the field here. It is a prerequisite. So in our pass protection here at VCSU, when it comes to the running backs, like I mentioned already, we'll do one pass pro drill every single day. I don't care if we're padded up or not, right? There's always some sort of work you can get in, whether it's a technique, whether it's your feet, whether it's your eyes, right? There's always something to get done. When I played offensive line, we'd be in shoulder pad, maybe sometimes not even shoulder pads, probably going full go, right? It was just kind of the way the mentality was back then. As a team, right? We are 50% run, 50% pass, right? Depending on the week, right? That's kind of everybody's philosophy. There's going to be weeks where we're going to be able to run the football significantly more than we're going to be able to pass it and vice versa, right? But, there's going to be games where our guys have to take kind of take an ego check, right? We talk about it with receivers sometimes. They're not going to be able to catch, 5, 6 balls. Our number one receiver is not always going to be able to put up 100 yards, right? As a running back, right? You're not going to get to be able to run the ball 30 times sometimes, right? When we played a team like Dickinson State, they did a very, very, very good job taking away the run, right? They took a lot of pride in that, and that's why they're coached up very, very well, right? So it forces us to change our dynamic. So as a running back, you still have to bring value to it, right? We talk about with the pass protection, we're going to take it to heart. I talked about it a little bit. As the recruiting coordinator, I get a little bit more say, on all recruits in general. But when it comes to running back, that's one of the main things I look for is, right? Some guys, obviously, they don't pass a lot in college, but when you can work with some stuff, when you can work with the physicality aspect, whether it's like a wing T offense or that option, how is the dude, what's his aggressiveness like? Is he not afraid of contact? That's the stuff I look for personally. And, I hate the mentality, right? And I've even heard it from coaches throughout the ranks, whether it's college or, high school, right? Where, these short running backs can't be blockers, right? I've had, guys who were, I know it says 5'7" here. We had a kid from Fargo South High School a couple of years ago. He was 5'5", maybe 150 pounds, soaking wet. That kid was more damn aggressive than, some of the 6 foot, whatever sort of kids we've had in the past, right? I don't care if you're 5'4", I don't care if you're 6'3", right? Everybody in this position group has to be able to get the job done. So, when we talk about how we step up, I have noticed we are considerably different than some programs, right? When I watch, some guys, offenses, whether it's my buddies in, at other colleges or, I just go see people speak at a Glazier clinic or maybe an AFCA clinic, the way they step up, they don't necessarily put a lot of emphasis on it where I do, right? We've done it a lot of different ways throughout the years, with different philosophies and whatnot. But one thing that we've been, doing the last maybe 3 or 4 years is our running backs are always going to step up with their inside foot first, right? And that's another sort of thing. It's going to feel a little bit unnatural. So we take a look at it. If we have a slide left, man right side, right? Our running back is going to go opposite of the slide. right? So he is going to step up to his right. He's going to step with his left foot first. And the reason we talk about that and, we emphasize that is by the time they take their third step, right? By the time they take that third step, they are going to be in good position. Coach York talked about it a little bit in his presentation, right, with the bad position piece, right? 90% of the time it seems like, offensive linemen, running backs, right? We are fighting to get back into good position, right? It's really easy to coach up good position drills, but getting our guys on their aiming point, keeping inside leverage, forcing, right? The biggest thing, forcing defenders to go either through us, right? When I was an offensive lineman, I probably wasn't super good. Our Coach York and I's head coach, his whole philosophy was get beat slowly, right? If you're going to get beat, bring them down with you. That sort of, philosophy back then, right? If they can go through me and I can bring them down with us, that's a win, right? I will take that. Not every block has to be I'm going to stand you up. I'm going to put you down, right? I'm going to take you where I want, right? Not everybody's Michael Oren the blind side, right? Or, right, obviously a much better scenario, we can force that defender to go around, right? They can't hurt us by going towards the sideline, right? If that kid does, tip your cap because we ain't beating that team, right? That kid's a freak, right? He probably shouldn't be playing at that school, right? So by taking that inside step, right, we're aiming, right? We're trying to stay on that imaginary railroad track, as it says there, right? When I talk about a railroad track with my running backs, I think I have a clip here somewhere. I have a bunch of clips here, but if I pull this up right here, right, you can see we are working what we call a walking pass pro hands drill. All right, so the whole idea, right, you can see 32 Ireland Franklin, he was more of a blocking back. He's stepping to his left, right? He's stepping to his left. His right foot has to be that first step. So by the time, right, he makes contact, right, this guy's right in his face, Ireland's inside leverage hasn't been compromised. He is on track. That kid either has to go through him or around him, right? The old adage, right? You can harp it on to your players, right? Everybody's heard it throughout their entire life. You can't get beat inside, right? We're not going to allow that to happen. He's going to make contact, get back set up. Now I can work to my right. His railroad tracks is my nose to his nose, right? So now I'm going to the right. I'm going to take my left foot or left step first. Little lag here. But you can see he's got his inside leverage. He's on the railroad track here. He's in a great position here to make contact. Now we're looking for that extension. One more step back. He's going back to the left. He'll take his right foot step first. That's all we're looking for. This is a walking pass pro hand drill. We do this drill once, twice a week, right? This is a pre-practice drill. If I don't have time to put it on my indie schedule, I'm telling my guys to do this before practice. It is a must do here at VCSU, right? So go back. Where am I at here? I always tell our guys, I steal a lot of our little tidbits, our little quirks from Coach Orkanai's old offensive line coach, right? He always used to tell us, right, you don't have to be afraid when you go to a party, just bring some punch to it, right? When I'm going up to, make contact, with a linebacker, sometimes it's a Sam linebacker, Sam safety off the edge. Sometimes, I have to block a defensive lineman, right? We all have pride, right? Not every single, defensive lineman is going to get blocked throughout a game. They're going to make plays too. So you're going to have to step up. Do I want a 5'10" running back taking on a 6'3", 300-pound guy? Not necessarily, right? But if I can still get in that guy's way and bring a punch to the party, it's huge. So when we talk about that strike, right, we talk about our elbows being tight, right? These kids do bench press. They want to do this narrow grip bench press, right? Put our elbows, rub our sides raw, our thumbs are up, right? And guys should look like Fonzie, right? Coach Carr always talked about Coach, Fonzie, right? He always gave the little A, right? But when I make contact with dudes with my elbows tight, my thumbs up, I can control this dude. When I want to get my thumbs to the side, naturally my elbows want to go out. Where if I can get back inside leverage on these dudes, that is the key difference maker, right? Guys panic when, those defensive guys, they panic when they don't have inside leverage on dudes, whether it's, them stunting inside, whether it's them making strikes with dudes. If they don't feel comfortable, if they don't feel like, okay, my technique is working, they're going to freeze. And that is the split second that needs to take place, in my opinion, for a play to be successful on Saturdays for us, right? Get them out of their rhythm, just like they're trying to do to you guys. Yeah, Fonzie. So, as someone who gets very passionate about offensive line plays, blocking technique, as you've come to learn thus far, we're going to do a lot of different drills, right? Just technique based drills. And this is not a quote unquote ass kicker type drill, right? We are just working on our punches in this set. So just having two guys out with an agile bag, put them head up, with a running back, playing obviously in a striking position. The whole idea is that when we make contact with dudes, okay, it's one thing, right, to take your inside step, right? I'm going to take my inside step. I'm going to take my 3 steps. I'm going to be in great position. It's another thing, right, to obviously fire your hands, right? But our power, right, the strike from our power, the ability to block dudes comes with our feet, right? And it comes with our hips, right? So you can see in this drill right here, we call it SDSU punches, stole it from the old Jackrabbits down there, right? They've been doing a good job up in Alaska lately, right? Getting some dudes from up there, and the coaching staff and obviously, on the field. But, what we want to try and do here, right? We've got Ireland and Josh McKnight. Ireland was a, blocking back from what we saw earlier. Josh was very skinny, very, 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 very light. But the whole idea is that they need to be able to generate power. So they're going to go ahead and get on a knee. I'm going to blow my whistle. The whole idea is that I want to put my pelvis on the bag, right? By me bringing my hands, me bringing my hips, bringing my pelvis, bringing my just lower body into the bag. I'm going to generate power upon that strike. Right? They're not doing a very good job. I'm getting very annoyed in this drill, right? Because they're not doing a good job to start. So I'm going to go ahead and give my little thrust as well. Bam, right? But you can see now, right? The first couple, they're just kind of slapping the bag. By bringing your hips, right? They're generating more power. If you watch Josh over here to the left, going against 45 over there, right? Those strikes mean a little bit more. Josh's bench press was probably about $175 at this point. He's not exactly, Superman over there, but just by generating power from the ground, generating power from the hips, his elbows, right? His hands on the strike, that can be the difference maker in a dude being able to make blocks. Ireland Franklin, for example, he bench pressed about 300 pounds. Dude was an absolute unit towards the end of his career, right? That's a shitty effort by him. So we've got a clip here, funny enough, against Coach York's and I, alma mater, right? We've got Bice here. We got a blitzer coming off the edge here. Looks like we're in a half slide, half man, right? Our running back, our slide protections to, our offense is left. Bice is going to work off the right-hand side. Our tackle's got a defender inside, so he's going to slam the door, right? Our running back does a great job eyeing this right away, right? Going through his technique. Do I love the fact necessarily, right? That, he takes a timing step with his outside foot, right? He's supposed to step with his left foot first, right? You can see he wants to naturally get out there. No, but the whole idea is that once he's gotten that step, he's got his leverage. He breaks down. He's making contact with 54 out the edge. That just allows our quarterback, right? We get a little strip sack here, right? Not ideal, but Bice is doing a great job. He's holding that dude in control. He actually puts him down in the dirt. All right, Coach York's probably not thrilled that I put that clip in here, right? It was hard to find some running back clips at the last couple of years, but I'm always going to throw a pancake in there. Fine. We got another one now. So essentially the same thing, right? Now we're both knees on the ground. right? The whole idea is we want to work on the explosion piece now, right? Bice on that last clip, a lot of explosion, put the dude down, he finished the block, right? So at this point, we would have gone through our left leg, our right leg, all right, being down, making the strikes. Now, I mean, you see this with defenders all the time. They want to work on their hip explosion. They want to work on their ability to, right, take down a ball carrier, especially those defensive line guys. It's the same thing. When I make contact with dudes, right, I should be bringing my feet, right, bringing my hips against this bag, and that's all we're looking for is explosion, right, with the hips, good hands striking through the defender, right, and putting that dude down, right, easily rotate. Camera worker must have been very windy up there. Probably giving some great motivation to that kid at that point, right? I'm talking about here, right? They're probably laughing at me right now, which if I were you guys, I'd probably be doing too. But we want to hump the bag, right? That's a great keyword for your guys. Hump the bag, right? He doesn't do a great job. It's all hands here, right? Still very powerful. But a 45 in this situation, he just brings his hips with, right? The chances of us putting that dude on the ground go up drastically. Right, that's the biggest thing with freshmen sometimes. Those, whether it's the power clean aspect, the hips, right, just not very fluid in their hips. The amount of times I hear our defensive coaches talk about hips, me talk about hips, is huge lately. So this is from this past season. All right, so we got Bice stepping up, dude off the edge. Very, very laggy. Right. This is a clip in here of what I don't like to see. So I would have probably chewed Bice's ass in a staff or in a position meeting, right? What I don't love, Bice doesn't bring his hands, he doesn't bring his feet, right? Bice, being 6'2", 6'3", big jacked dude at times, right? Didn't always, feel like, he was going against dudes his size or, bigger than him, so he was going to try and get away with power, right? But what you can see here, when he does that, what happens? His head goes down, right? He's lunging out at this kid. That is terrible position, right? That's why it's so important that we teach our dudes, whether it's the high school level, the college level, bring your feet, right? The amount of times I've heard offensive line coaches talk about, you don't block with your hands, you don't block with, right, your arms, you block with your feet, right? If you can't get in front of a dude, you'll never be able to stop his momentum. Obviously, don't put your head down either. Otherwise, you're drinking through a straw. Right. So, I mean, just, working some more with these dudes, just the striking aspect of it. We call this touch punches. Just working with dudes, right? Starts off with an agile bag, right? We'll just go, tell them left, middle, right. As this, drill progresses, you can give them, numbers. You can go 1, 3, 2, right? So they don't guess. But the whole idea is just these quick taps, right? You can see where Bice's hands are, right? I don't love that they're down right now, right? He's leaning over. He's probably hot and tired. He's probably wondering why his running backs coach is on his ass about, punches in the heat right now, right? But the whole idea, elbows are tight, quick strikes. We're not moving our feet in this drill, right? This isn't to, talk about our footwork. All this drill is teaching us right now are quick strikes, right? Getting our hands against our hips, right? Our elbows are tight, our thumbs are up. So when we make that strike, we're in a good position to pick it up. A few more clips here. Get to some questions here in a minute. This video wants to play. Another half slide, half man. All right, Bice is stepping up to his right. Again, bad footwork. He would have got graded poorly on that right away. Right, this was Bice's first year starting, so there was a lot of that. There's still some trickles of it throughout his career, but right now he's picking, presentation, right? They were running some, funky defenses, that year. They were doing a little bit of cross dog here, as you can see, trying to confuse the center, right? We were able to gap it all down here. Bice is there to pick up, work in the middle, right? Maybe not necessarily who he thought he was going to block the very first at the very first of the snap of the ball, right? But he's there. He's in good leverage, right? His inside foot is up, right? He's got it cut off, right? He's able to throw his hands. And ultimately, it leads on all to a touchdown. You never know what block is going to cause it. So what we've got here is what we love. Coach York talked about towards the end of his presentation was bad position, right? You have to be able to coach your guys how to get off of or get out of bad position. So right now, what I tell my guys, right, or in this situation, if I could pause it, right? So this would be a situation in where, Bice is stepping up to his right, right? He took his left foot, or left step first, I should say, right? He overset, maybe a defender just blitzed inside of him, right? Bad position, right? So we talk about getting our head back across. Where the head goes, the body goes in this situation. Bice knows, okay, I'm in one of those oh shit moments, right? I've overset. I need to get back my inside leverage. So I tell my guys in this drill, we're going to go ahead and put our hands behind our back, because what I really want them to focus on is getting their head across, right? If I can get my head across here, Bice's shoulders will come, right? His feet will come, his hips will come. We'll be able to cut that off. See here, the defender is just being a rabbit. He's not doing anything over the top right now. We'll speed the drill up as it goes, right? But we can see how Bice gets back inside leverage on him. Switch it across. He's in good footwork, bad head placement, bad body. Speaking of bad body, I pulled up into the screen. So here's a really good rep. Bice is way outside. We're going to make them work all the way across. You can see here, we're about almost on the 20-yard line, right? I will tell Ty, I want you to go down this entire sideline. If we can't get our head across by then, I don't know many games we're going to be able to do this. Bice the whole time is working, right? Notice how his posture never changes, right? His chest is up, right? He's moving his feet the whole time. His footwork, right? His left foot in this situation has been in front the whole time, right? He's trying to get it back, cut across, right? By the time he gets there, right, he finishes in good position. He cuts off the defender, right? Ideally, right, do we want to be nose to nose with that kid on contact? 100%, right? Every single opportunity we want to be in that position. But getting back with our head across can be the difference making between having our quarterback step up, right? Or it can be the difference in, giving up a sack, right? You can say, oh shit, I'm in a bad position. Quarterback's, drinking through a straw, or I can try and get my head across. This would have been about, this was 2019, I believe. This is just Josh picking up a guy. Back then we could cut this guy. The rules have changed a little bit now, right? They've got to be touching the tackle, right? The men on the line of scrimmage, some part of their body. So we could not be able to cut 43 anymore. In the past, right? Probably around this time, we still could cut him. But talking about cuts, this will be the last thing I talk about. I'm real with my guys, right? I am all for cutting, right? Sometimes it's not the most honorable thing, I guess, for defenders, right? They don't love the cuts, right? But I'm not having running backs get bulldozed, right, through, or back to the quarterback. So pick and choose your battles, right? If you can man up a guy, man him up. That's the first thing I tell dudes, right? It's easier. It's less bodies on the ground for offensive linemen to have to worry about, right? When you start cutting every single play, you're opening up a can of worms. But with our aiming points when it comes to cuts, we are going to aim for the thigh board of the defender. All right, so just above, or I should say right in that groin area. If we aim high, we miss low, right? That's the whole mentality behind it. All right. Am I going to hit the thigh board every single time? No, but now I'm going to be able to go for the legs or their shins or whatever, right? I'm going to be able to stop that dude's momentum. The whole idea behind cuts is, all right, you cut him one time, probably not going to come as hard that next time, right? Otherwise, they keep doing it, right? Some of those linebackers are goofy, right? They're going to learn the lesson, right? But cuts are supposed to be physical, right? There's no doubt about it, right? They are a tone setter, in my opinion, right? We cannot be timid in our cuts. When we are going to go for a cut, we are looking to go through them with our shoulder. That's the biggest thing I have to remind our dudes all the time. They want to go ahead and they want to almost turn their body right away on contact. They want to hit them with their ribs, right? I've never understood. Maybe it's just the guys that we've brought in over the years and the way they've been taught, right? But we want to go through them. After contact, right? Getting wide as possible, forcing that dude to go all the way around. All right, so this is a clip from a couple years ago, right? You know, at this point in our level, we couldn't cut him. He's got to be within 3 yards, but he does end up creeping up towards the end. So he's able to go for us. I don't love that he cuts with his outside shoulder here for us, right? But at the end of the day, he gets the dude down, gives us a chance to get the ball out, and I guess we don't complete that ball, right? But I'd rather put a dude down, right? Slow him down a little bit, than get a free shot on our quarterback, who at that point was a 4-year or 3-year all conference guy for us. So, you know, that's kind of it, right? A lot of ball security, a lot of pass pro stuff in this PowerPoint. You know, obviously contact information is on there as well. But you know, was going to leave the last few minutes here open for some questions if some dudes had some questions, and we can kind of go from there.
Coach, what's your whoa, let me
Go ahead.
change it.
Uh-oh. I'm really good at leaving people speechless. Coach York learns all about it on my.
There we go. Hey, Coach. So, what's your progression coming out of like play action then? What's your teaching progression on that?
Yeah, so with our guys, they're going to go ahead and they're going to keep, their same rules, right? So for example, Coach York had his tight zone stuff. So let's say we were running play action, tight zone, right? We're still going to keep our same read as it were. If we're running outside zone to the left, right? I want my guys to check inside backer to the left, working all the way outside, right? And all of our pass protection reads, all of our play action stuff, like everybody else in the world, right? We're trying to secure the inside before we're working our way out. I'm really big on my dudes, making sure they secure first level, right? There are situations where, defensive linemen, let's say we're going against a stud nose tackle. Dakota State had one this past year. Dickinson has had, some pretty solid dudes in the middle. They're going to go ahead and sell it, right? Run into it if that kid's free there, right? If, they're ready to get out, right? Their one doesn't come, their two doesn't come out, we're just going to shout, or we're just going to bubble them out, right? We call it a wide route. We're going to bubble them out. But if there is absolutely any thought that, okay, right, we need to get this secured up, we want to go ahead and do that, because at the end of the day, right, we're trying to sell run in the first place. York's not necessarily drawing up play action to try to hit a running back on a 2-yard bubble. So working inside out, right, selling the run first, and then we can worry about getting into routes.
And the big thing too, Coach, is if one of his reads is bringing blitz and he sees that, he aborts the fake and just goes picks. So if you get pressure from one of your guys, abort the fake and just go pick them up.
Anything else, guys? Awesome. Well, again, appreciate the opportunity, right? I don't care if it's what is it here now, local 10-20 o'clock at night. It could have been at 2 o'clock in the morning, right? Being able to just talk about we all love to do, right? Try to learn something, right? Whether it was maybe an idea of taking an inside step, or just taking the Fonzie, right, kind of moniker away, right? That's all, right? That's all we can hope to do. Just take one thing out of every single presentation and try and add it to our philosophies. But appreciate the opportunity, guys.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Thank you,
Coach.
Coach.
Jay staying up.
Thank you, Coach Bouma.
You guys have a good night, all right?
Thank you. Appreciate it.